All right, everyone. Now we talk about the legacy media. It's dying, and CNN is dying the fastest. It's funny though. If you look at the online rankings, CNN's actually number one, like by far, and that's part of the reason why fewer and fewer people give a shit about TV news. They'll have maybe on-demand exclusives, which is about the most stupid and pointless thing that I can even conceive of, because you can get that on your phone or on your desktop. Why the fuck are you doing it TV style? It's almost like people have a retro nostalgia for the existence of the TV. All it is the same fucking shit as the screen that's hooked up to your desktop or whatever anyway. It's just that it's less interactive. It's the whole point of why the internet took over. TV's dying. The proof is in the pudding. Name a network that has higher ratings year over year. None of them. They're all falling at the same time. Meanwhile, their online presence remains, in some cases, as a little growth, a little loss. It's more stable. That's because of the medium itself, though. The concept of the TV, passively watching material that you can't interact with, falls flat. People like to react to things. Now, what would they do before? It's 1980. Families, no internet yet for people at home. Families sitting around after dinner, 7, 8 o'clock, they're watching the news. And dad makes comments, oh, I fucking hate that politician, he's such an asshole. Mom makes comments, oh, that recipe looks really, really fun. And then they get talking about things. They're interacting with each other. It's not about what they're watching. It's about the post-watching interaction. It's the funny part. It's like they watch the show and during the commercials, they're laughing about what they saw in the show and about the commercials. But people don't do that anymore. That sort of sitting on the couch, zoning out, watching TV for several hours thing is just not a thing anymore. Mostly people have the TV on as background noise while they're on the internet. Or they're on their fucking phone, which is, you're going to go blind. I'll be the only millennial still able to see, I guess, when I'm 55. If I make it that far. Caffeine, it helps. I consider it a health food. That doesn't happen. It's like newsprint. My parents still get several papers. What does my mom read in the paper? Front page, she skims over it, she goes to the cartoons. Dad reads the sports page. 90% of it's useless. I've thought about the wisdom of teaching Dad how to actually use a laptop computer and saying, you can get that same sports news for free, right? You don't actually need the paper. Hey, Mom, there are a lot more cartoons than Garfield and Family Circus and Peanuts. But old habits die hard. But that generation is also dying. I hate to tell you this, but over the next 10, 20 years, the mortality rate for the people that are from the generation that's like TV and newsprint is going to be gone, mostly. 90% of them will die over the next 20 years. The younger generations don't give a shit about newsprint, and few give a shit about TV. The retro nostalgia of having a TV at all is effectively on demand for most people. They have their fucking PS4 hooked up to it, and PS5 now, or whatever, and they watch YouTube videos on the TV. I've had people show me pictures. They're watching me, and it's on a TV. I would prefer them be on a more interactive platform. You can get a screen that's comparable in 4K and all the bells and whistles and shit, and have it on your desk, and it's much more visible, and then you can comment. I'm like, oh, why are there fewer comments? Oh, that's right, everyone's using TVs now. The YouTube TV app for very, very technologically confused people. The legacy media is dying. Link in the description, archived of course. CNN's ratings have absolutely plummeted. We're talking significant double-digit losses of daytime viewership for every slot. Nobody cares about them anymore. And the fact is that the places where people do interact with that content, like on a tweet or something, half of those people are telling them to shove it. And this shows you people in the olden days, other than their friends, family, neighbors, the local community, and maybe like some long-distance relations or stuff, they didn't really get an outside opinion very often about the news itself. The news would say, whoa, so here's our ratings, and here's the news. And people didn't really have it in mind, hey, everyone actually distrusts and hates these fuckers. They didn't have it in their mind because they've got a very small sample to work with, and they're like, well, I watch it. My family watches it. They're probably not discussing, hey, do you trust what we're being told on TV? The legacy media skepticism thing is an internet era thing. Because then people could go out on the internet and say, oh, there's a million other people who picked up on the fact that this story is fucking horseshit. And so it's been multiplying over and over, which is why they're switching to being, again, on demand. You have to pay for it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to pay money to watch CNN's propaganda. That makes a lot of sense. And tweets and shit like that. The latter costs them nothing. They have a Twitter handle. They get hundreds of thousands of people to pay attention to it, while most of them get 10 people to pay attention to it. They have lower engagement than I do, despite having supposedly 10 million people following them. It's botting. It's horse shit, to tell the truth. Or they put out spammy shit, people click it accidentally and it subscribes them and they don't even realize it and they never pay attention to it. They get a bunch of notifications in their spam email section. Television is now dead, effectively. Very few people watch cable. Very few people give a shit. You got like the stuffy sweater liberal crowd, they'll watch C-SPAN, but you can watch that on YouTube. I'm sure there's feeds on other sites too. It should be piggybacked onto Rumble, by the way, because that's a big thing. People like to watch that, and then they like to comment on things. Also, legacy big tech. The old wave of social media, video hosting, etc., they are starting to nerf that interaction as well. Comments, commentary, copyright claims. You try to do commentary, and it's not on the White House channel. It's on like Fox or CNN or something. You get a copyright strike. They'll either mute the audio or you'll get your channel taken down. They are deliberately attempting to reform that TV-style, non-interactive echo chamber. But they've lost. There are too many alternatives already available, and people enjoy that interaction. The fact is this. This is why the ultimate censorship of the internet, I don't think, ever is feasible. People, to too great an extent, enjoy the dumpster fire. They enjoy insulting one another, debating one another, talking amiably to certain one another's. They enjoy this interaction. When you take that interactability away, because you're afraid, well, these people have unorthodox views and they're promulgating disinformation, they're promulgating extremism, which is whatever CNN doesn't want you to believe is true. They want you to absorb their fake news, their propaganda, their state apparatus bullshit. If they ban everybody, people go elsewhere. This has already happened. CNN used to have a lot more people interacting with their articles now, didn't they? I used to get news tips all the time from Legacymedia. Despite the fact my audience is 10 times larger, now I almost never do. Why? They closed their comments section. They prevented people from being interested in the material. You read a news article. What was I doing years ago when I went to CNN.com? I read the first paragraph of the article, which may or may not even be of interest to me, and I may or may not give a shit, and then I went to the comments section, the one that no longer exists for the most part. That's about all. Peace out.